Motif, Key Ideas from Best Nonfiction. Welcome to the summary of one of the most influential personal finance books ever written, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, by Robert T. Kiyosaki. This book has transformed millions of readers' understanding of wealth creation by sharing the contrasting financial philosophies of two fathers, Kiyosaki's biological father, Poor Dad, a highly educated but financially struggling professor, and his friend's father, Rich Dad, an entrepreneur who became one of Hawaii's wealthiest residents. Through 9 powerful insights, we'll explore the fundamental differences in how the rich and poor think about money, work, and investing. These lessons aren't just about making money. They're about completely reshaping your financial mindset. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or looking to enhance your wealth-building strategy, these insights will challenge your existing beliefs about money and success. Insight 1. True wealth comes from financial intelligence, not hard work. You've probably noticed that some people accumulate wealth without much effort, while others work tirelessly but still experience financial difficulties. Why does this happen? The answer lies in a fundamental difference in mindset and approach to money. When Robert Kiyosaki was 9 years old, he and his friend Mike received an unusual lesson from Mike's father, a successful businessman. Instead of giving them standard advice about working hard and getting good grades, Rich Dad offered them a unique opportunity. He hired the boys to work in his store for just 10 cents an hour, a meager wage even by 1970s standards. The work was monotonous, dusting cans and restocking shelves in a small convenience store without air conditioning. After 3 weeks of this tedious work, Robert was ready to quit. This was exactly what Rich Dad had anticipated. When Robert expressed his frustration, Rich Dad didn't respond with typical advice about perseverance or working harder. Instead, he used this moment to teach a crucial lesson. The rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. To demonstrate this principle, Rich Dad presented the boys with a challenge. He stopped paying them altogether and encouraged them to use their minds to find opportunities. This pushed them to think creatively, and soon they spotted their first business opportunity. Creating a comic book library. They charged other kids 10 cents for admission, allowing them to read multiple comics during their visit. With Mike's sister as their librarian earning $1 per week, they were making $9.50 weekly without having to be physically present. This experience taught them 3 vital lessons about wealth creation. First, most people are trained to work for money, but the wealthy focus on creating systems that generate income. Second, financial success often requires thinking outside conventional employment patterns. And third, true wealth comes from spotting opportunities that others miss and taking calculated risks. The key message here is transformation. Moving from being an employee who trades time for money to becoming an investor, an entrepreneur who creates income-generating systems. This shift in mindset is what separates those who achieve financial freedom from those who remain trapped in the rat race. Think about it. Would you rather work 40 hours a week for a paycheck or spend that time creating systems that generate income while you sleep? This is the fundamental difference between working for money and making money work for you. Remember, it's not about how hard you work. It's about how smart you work with your money. The path to wealth begins with changing your relationship with money from that of an employee to that of an investor and entrepreneur. Insight 2. Essential life lessons that shape financial success. Life often teaches us its most valuable lessons through experience rather than lectures. This truth became crystal clear through Rich Dad's unique teaching approach. Let's look at 3 fundamental lessons that shaped Robert Kiyosaki's path to financial success. First and foremost, life itself proves to be our greatest teacher. Rich Dad demonstrated this by creating real-world learning experiences instead of giving traditional classroom lectures. When faced with challenges, he encouraged learning through action rather than theory. For instance, when teaching about business, he didn't hand out textbooks. He put Robert and Mike in charge of running actual operations. The second crucial lesson focuses on using your head creatively. One day, Rich Dad tested the boys' resolve by offering them increasingly higher wages, from 25 cents all the way up to $5 an hour. This wasn't just about money, it was a test to see if they could resist immediate gratification and think strategically. The boys passed this test by refusing the higher wages, showing they understood something deeper was at stake. Most people would have jumped at the chance for higher pay. But Rich Dad was teaching them to look beyond the obvious. He wanted them to understand that our minds, when properly engaged, can create opportunities far more valuable than a simple paycheck. The third essential lesson revolves around emotional honesty. Rich Dad emphasized the importance of acknowledging our true feelings about money and success. He noticed how many people let fear and greed drive their financial decisions without even realizing it. By teaching the boys to recognize and confront these emotions, he helped them develop stronger financial decision-making skills. Here's a practical example. When you're faced with a financial decision, do you typically react from fear or think it through logically? Rich Dad taught that success comes from acknowledging your emotional responses while not letting them control your actions. This means being honest with yourself about your financial fears and aspirations. These lessons work together to form a powerful foundation for financial success. Think of it like building a house. Experience is your foundation, creative thinking is your framework, and emotional honesty is your roof. Each element is essential, and together they create a structure that can weather any financial storm. The beauty of these lessons lies in their simplicity and universal application. Whether you're just starting your financial journey or you're well along the path, these principles remain relevant. They remind us that true financial education isn't just about numbers and spreadsheets. It's about developing wisdom through experience, thinking creatively, and maintaining emotional awareness. These lessons aren't just theoretical concepts, they're practical tools that you can apply in your daily life. Start by embracing challenges as learning opportunities, thinking beyond conventional solutions, and being honest about your financial emotions. This combination of practical experience, creative thinking, and emotional awareness creates a solid foundation for building lasting wealth. Insight 3. Financial literacy. The language of wealth building. Let's talk about something that most schools never teach us: how to truly understand money. Financial literacy might sound like a complex term, but it's simply your ability to speak and understand the language of money. And just like learning any new language, it starts with mastering the basics. Think about this. Wouldn't you love to know exactly what makes you richer or poorer? That's where understanding assets and liabilities comes in. Rich Dad explained these concepts in refreshingly simple terms. An asset puts money in your pocket, while a liability takes money out. It's that straightforward. Imagine you buy a rental property that generates $500 monthly in rental income, while your mortgage and expenses total $300. This property is an asset because it puts $200 in your pocket each month. On the flip side, your personal residence, despite what many believe, is actually a liability. It constantly takes money out of your pocket through mortgage payments, taxes, maintenance, and utilities. Here's where most people get confused about wealth building. They often mistake possessions for assets. That new car you bought, it's not an asset. It loses value and costs you money every month. Your designer watch collection, unless you're selling pieces at a profit, it's not generating income. Understanding this distinction is crucial for building real wealth. Rich Dad taught that the secret to financial independence lies in a simple formula. Focus on acquiring assets that generate income, while minimizing liabilities that drain your resources. It's like playing Monopoly in real life. The person who collects the most income-producing properties usually wins. But here's the challenge. Our financial system doesn't make this easy to understand. Banks, financial advisors, and even well-meaning parents often give advice based on old rules that may no longer apply. They might tell you your house is your biggest asset, or that a steady job is the path to security. Yet, in today's economy, these traditional beliefs might actually be holding you back. The solution? Start thinking differently about money. Instead of focusing solely on your salary, ask yourself, how can I create income streams that don't require my constant work? This might mean investing in dividend-paying stocks, creating an online business, or buying rental properties. The key is to build a portfolio of assets that generate income, whether you're working or not. Financial education is an ongoing journey, not a destination. Markets change, opportunities evolve, and strategies need to adapt. The most successful people never stop learning about money and investing. They read books, attend seminars, and most importantly, take action on what they learn. Let's be clear. Understanding financial literacy won't make you rich overnight, but it will give you the tools to make better financial decisions and spot opportunities that others miss. It's like having a map while others are wandering without direction. Start by examining your current assets and liabilities. Are they really what you think they are? Are your assets actually putting money in your pocket? Or are they secretly draining your wealth? This simple exercise can be eye-opening and might just change how you view money forever. Insight 4. Smart business building beyond your day job. Let's look at one of the most eye-opening stories from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. At a university talk, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, asked students what business they thought he was in. Everyone immediately answered, hamburgers. Ray smiled and said, "No, I'm in the real estate business." This revelation perfectly illustrates the art of smart business building. You see, while McDonald's sells burgers, their real wealth comes from owning prime real estate locations worldwide. Ray Kroc understood something fundamental. True business success often lies in spotting opportunities others miss. He wasn't just selling food. He was building a real estate empire under the golden arches. Here's a crucial distinction many people miss. Your profession is not your business. If you're a teacher, banker, or doctor, that's your profession, how you earn your paycheck. Your business, on the other hand, is what you own and build separately from your day job. This distinction can dramatically change your financial future. Think about it this way. While you're working your day job, you should be building your own business on the side. It's like having two tracks running simultaneously. The first track, your job, provides immediate income and stability. The second track, your business, builds long-term wealth and freedom. Now, you might be wondering, should I quit my job and start a business right away? Rich Dad would say no. Instead, keep your day job while you begin building your business assets. This approach offers two significant advantages. First, you maintain financial stability. And second, you can learn and make mistakes without risking your livelihood. Imagine a software engineer who works at a tech company. While maintaining her day job, she begins investing in small rental properties. Over time, these properties generate passive income. She's following Ray Kroc's principle, building wealth through smart asset ownership while maintaining her primary income source. Here's a practical strategy to get started. First, identify your strengths and interests. Then, look for business opportunities that align with them. Maybe you're great at digital marketing. You could start consulting on the side. Or perhaps you understand real estate. You could begin investing in rental properties. The key is to start small and grow systematically. Don't feel pressured to create the next McDonald's overnight. Remember, Ray Kroc didn't build his empire in a day. He methodically acquired one prime location after another, building his real estate portfolio while selling hamburgers. Also, understand that building your own business doesn't necessarily mean starting a traditional company. It could mean building a portfolio of investments, creating intellectual property, or developing passive income streams. The goal is to own assets that generate income without requiring your constant presence. Everyone works for something or someone. Employees work for business owners work for the government and banks. But the truly wealthy work to build and own income-generating assets. Which category would you rather be in? Start minding your own business today, even if it's just dedicating a few hours each week. The journey to financial freedom isn't about working harder in your job. It's about smartly building your own business assets on the side. Insight 5. Understanding real assets, your path to true wealth. Let's talk about 6 categories of real assets that can genuinely build your wealth. First, we have businesses that don't require your constant presence. Think of a car wash that runs smoothly with hired staff, or an e-commerce store with automated systems. These businesses continue generating income whether you're there or not. The second and third categories are stocks and bonds. But here's the key. We're not talking about random stock picking or day trading. We're talking about strategic investments in companies that pay regular dividends or bonds that provide steady interest income. Fourth on our list is income-generating real estate. Notice the emphasis on income generating. A vacation home that sits empty most of the year isn't an asset. It's actually a liability. However, an apartment that you rent out, consistently bringing in more money than it costs to maintain, is a true asset. The fifth category might surprise you: intellectual property. This includes things like music royalties, patent rights, and book royalties. Imagine writing a book once and receiving payments every time someone buys a copy. That's the power of intellectual property as an asset. Finally, we have the catch-all category: anything that appreciates in value and has a ready market. This could include collectible items that consistently increase in value and can be sold easily when needed. However, be careful here. Not every collection qualifies as an asset. Here's a practical tip from Robert Kiyosaki. Invest in assets you understand and enjoy. He loves real estate, so he focuses his energy there. If you're passionate about technology, you might better understand tech stocks or digital businesses. Your interest can guide your investment choices. The real secret to building wealth is methodical. Start with one type of asset and learn everything about it. Once you've mastered that, you can diversify into other categories. This approach helps you avoid costly mistakes and builds your expertise gradually. Remember this crucial point: real assets should provide passive income, money that flows into your pocket without requiring your constant work or presence. This income then gives you the freedom to invest in more assets, creating a powerful wealth-building cycle. Your goal should be to build a diverse portfolio of income-producing assets that work for you around the clock. Insight 6. Understanding tax history: how the wealthy navigate the system. Did you know that permanent income tax is a relatively recent invention? Before 1874, people in England didn't pay regular income taxes. The government only collected temporary levies to fund specific needs like wars. Similarly, Americans didn't face permanent income tax until 1913. This historical perspective reveals something crucial about our current tax system. It wasn't always this way. Here's where the story gets interesting. When governments first introduced permanent income taxes, they targeted only the wealthy. It seemed fair, let the rich pay their share. However, an unexpected twist occurred. The tax burden gradually shifted downward, eventually affecting the middle class most heavily. Imagine two individuals, a high-earning doctor who makes $300,000 through their practice, and an investor who earns the same amount through carefully structured investments and business holdings. The doctor might pay 40% in taxes, while the investor could pay significantly less through legal tax strategies. This brings us to a crucial insight about how the wealthy handle taxes differently. They understand that the tax code isn't just a set of rules to follow. It's a guide for strategic planning. While most people focus on earning more money, the financially savvy focus on structuring their income to minimize tax exposure. Corporations play a vital role in this strategy. Originally created during the age of sailing ships to protect merchant investors, corporations have evolved into powerful tools for tax efficiency. They offer numerous advantages that aren't available to individual taxpayers. Think of a corporation as a legal shield that can protect your assets and income from excessive taxation. But here's what many people misunderstand. A corporation isn't a physical business with employees and offices. It's simply a legal structure, a tool that creates a separate entity for tax purposes. This structure allows wealthy individuals to operate under different rules than regular wage earners. You might wonder if this is fair. Rich Dad's perspective was pragmatic. Rather than complaining about the system, learn to work within it legally and ethically. He observed that attempts to tax the wealthy often fail because they adapt and find new strategies within the law. Let's look at a practical example. When you own a business through a corporation, you can deduct legitimate business expenses before calculating your taxable income. This might include office space, equipment, travel, and professional development, expenses that an employee typically pays with after-tax dollars. Understanding tax history teaches us another valuable lesson. The rules of money are constantly evolving. What worked 50 years ago might not work today, and what works today might change tomorrow. The key is staying informed and adaptable. This isn't about evading taxes, it's about being smart with how you structure your finances. Just as you'd use an umbrella in the rain, using legal tax strategies is simply practical financial planning. Start by educating yourself about basic tax strategies. Consider consulting with tax professionals who can help you understand how different business structures might benefit your situation. Knowledge about taxes is a crucial tool for anyone serious about building long-term wealth. Insight 7. Smart money investment, seeing opportunities others miss. Some people find great investment opportunities even during economic downturns, while others see only disaster. The secret lies in developing your financial intelligence, your ability to spot opportunities that others overlook. During an economic downturn in Arizona, while most people were panicking about the market crash, savvy investors were making fortunes. When housing prices plummeted, they saw opportunity instead of crisis. These investors understood something crucial. Market cycles create opportunities for those who know where to look. Your most valuable investment tool isn't your bank account, it's your mind. When you develop your financial intelligence, you start seeing opportunities everywhere. It's like learning a new language. Suddenly, you understand conversations that previously sounded like noise. Here's a practical way to think about investment opportunities. Markets constantly cycle through different phases, just like seasons. Spring might be perfect for planting seeds, buying assets, while winter might be ideal for preparation, learning, and analysis. The trick is knowing which season you're in and acting accordingly. Remember this fundamental truth. Opportunities of a lifetime come around more often than you think. The challenge isn't finding them, it's being prepared to recognize and act on them. This requires developing what Rich Dad called your financial IQ. Imagine you're reviewing local property listings. An average person might see high prices and walk away. Someone with developed financial intelligence might notice that a particular property's rent could cover its mortgage plus expenses, even at those high prices. They're reading the same information, but seeing different opportunities. The digital age has transformed how we can invest money. 300 years ago, wealth meant owning land. Later, it meant owning factories. Today, information and innovation create wealth faster than ever before. This acceleration means more opportunities, but also requires faster learning and adaptation. Don't let fear keep you on the sidelines. While others freeze during market changes, trained investors move forward with confidence because they've developed their financial intelligence. They see change through the lens of opportunity rather than threat. The world of investment is constantly evolving, but this makes it more exciting, not more frightening. When you invest in your financial education first, you'll be prepared to spot and seize opportunities that others miss entirely. Insight 8. Work to learn. The secret path to long-term success. The author shares with us an enlightening story about a talented journalist who wanted to become a best-selling author. When Robert Kiyosaki suggested she take a sales course to improve her book's success, she was offended. With a master's degree in English literature, she couldn't see how learning sales could help her writing career. This mindset perfectly illustrates why many talented people struggle to achieve financial success. The key message here is revolutionary. Don't work for money. Work to learn. Most people choose jobs based on immediate salary or benefits. But what if you chose your next career move based on what skills you could gain instead? There are 3 essential management skills that can transform your financial future. First, You need to master cash flow management, understanding how money moves in and out of businesses or investments. Second, develop your systems management skills, learning how to create and optimize processes that work without your constant presence. And third, perfect your people management abilities, because true wealth often comes from leveraging others' time and talents. But here's the game changer. The most crucial skills for financial success are sales and marketing. These skills act as multipliers for everything else you learn. Imagine being excellent at your craft, but unable to convince others of its value. That's why even the most talented professionals often struggle financially. A brilliant software developer might create amazing applications, but without understanding marketing and sales, their products might never reach their intended audience. The same applies to artists, writers, entrepreneurs, really any profession you can think of. Rich Dad encouraged a unique approach. Learn a little about a lot. This might seem counterintuitive in an age of specialization, but it makes perfect sense. When you understand multiple aspects of business and finance, you start seeing connections and opportunities that specialists miss. Here's a practical way to apply this principle. While keeping your current job, take on side projects or part-time work that teaches you new skills. Yes, it requires extra effort, but think of it as going to the gym. The temporary discomfort leads to long-term strength. Identify the skills you need to learn and create a personal development plan. If you're an accountant who wants to start a business, you might need to learn marketing. If you're a sales professional, you might need to understand financial statements better. The key is to be honest about your skill gaps and actively work to fill them. Many people resist this approach because it means stepping out of their comfort zone. But remember, every successful person you admire once had to learn these skills too. They weren't born knowing how to sell or manage people. They learned through experience and dedication. Think of skills as tools in your toolbox. The more tools you have, the more problems you can solve, and the more valuable you become. While others focus on quick payoffs, you'll be building a foundation for lasting success. Insight 9. 4 inner obstacles on your path to wealth. Let's talk about something rarely discussed in financial advice: the inner barriers that keep people from building wealth. Even with perfect knowledge of investment strategies, 4 major psychological obstacles can block your path to financial success. The first obstacle is fear, particularly the fear of losing money. Here's the interesting part. You'll never meet a rich person who hasn't lost money investing. The difference lies in how they handle that fear. While most people play it safe to avoid losses, successful investors use fear as a motivator to make smarter decisions. When the stock market drops, most investors panic and sell their holdings. Meanwhile, seasoned investors often view these moments as buying opportunities. They've learned to master their fear rather than let it master them. The second obstacle is cynicism. We all know that cynical friend who always has reasons why an investment won't work. While healthy skepticism is valuable, cynicism can blind you to genuine opportunities. Remember, as Rich Dad said, cynics criticize while winners analyze. Instead of immediately dismissing opportunities, successful investors take time to study and understand them. Consider this real-world scenario. When e-commerce was emerging, cynics dismissed online shopping as a fad. Those who analyzed the opportunity rather than criticizing it often profited tremendously from early investments in companies like Amazon. The third obstacle might surprise you. It's laziness. But here's the twist. Rich Dad believed the cure for laziness is a healthy dose of greed, or what we might better call desire for better. Instead of saying, "I can't afford it," try asking, "How can I afford it?" This simple shift in language can transform your brain from making excuses to finding solutions. For example, when faced with an investment opportunity, lazy thinking says, "That's too expensive." Creative thinking asks, "What skills or resources could I develop to make this possible?" This mental shift can open doors you never knew existed. The fourth and final obstacle is bad habits, particularly in how you manage money. Poor Dad's habit was paying everyone else first and himself last. Rich Dad took the opposite approach. He paid himself first, which forced him to think creatively about generating additional income to cover other obligations. The beauty of understanding these obstacles is that they're all within your control. You can't control the market or the economy, but you can control your reactions to fear, your level of analysis versus cynicism, your approach to problem solving, and your daily habits. Start today by identifying which of these obstacles most affects you. Be honest with yourself. Is it fear holding you back, cynicism, laziness, or bad habits? Once you identify your primary obstacle, you can develop specific strategies to overcome it. Remember, awareness is always the first step toward positive change. Conclusion: Rich Dad, Poor Dad isn't just another book about money management. It's a wake-up call that challenges our traditional beliefs about wealth creation. Through the contrasting perspectives of two fathers, Kiyosaki shows us that true financial success isn't about how much you earn, but how you think about money. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. They focus on acquiring assets, not liabilities, and they prioritize financial education over job security. The most powerful takeaway is that anyone can choose which path to follow: the conventional route of seeking job security and working for money, or the path of financial intelligence and having money work for you. The choice is yours, but now you have the knowledge to make an informed decision. Remember, it's not about where you start, but about the financial decisions you make and the mindset you cultivate along the way. You've just listened to the key insights from Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. If you found this summary valuable, don't miss our upcoming summary of The Purpose-Driven Life by Rick Warren, a transformative guide to discovering your life's meaning. For more insightful summaries of the best nonfiction books, be sure to subscribe to the Motif channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new summary.